Good evening, everyone. So, is my voice clear? Could you please confirm over the chat? Welcome back to our day of our program where we have started understanding SQL. Right. So, in the last class, we understood what is DBMS and we also understood what is SQL, Structured Query Language. Right? Yes. So, in today's session, we are going to start with the first topic. The basic topic, it is SQL commands. Okay, so in SQL structured query language, there are 5 fundamental languages. Okay, what are these 5 fundamental languages? They are DDL, DQL, DML, DCL, and TCL. Okay, so these are the 5 different languages, and all these languages hold some purpose. Okay, so under these languages, there are some commands. We'll be understanding each and every language, the purpose of the language, followed by the commands under these languages. Clear? Yes. So our agenda will be completing SQL commands in today's class. And I have also requested you guys to complete the SQL installation, MySQL installation in the last session. I hope all of you have installed MySQL Workbench. If you have installed, you'll observe the user interface of MySQL Workbench in the similar manner. Right, guys? Okay, so by default, you'll have one connection. When you click on this connection, when you double click on it, it will ask you for the password. You have to give your password. Okay, and better save it. When you save the password, it will not ask you time again. Right? Then let us quickly understand a few, important icons that are available under MySQL. Then we'll understand the topic. Okay. So here, if you observe, you see this white space, this white zone. So this is the place where we type our queries. Whatever the queries that we are going to learn, we'll be typing our queries line by line. Okay, so this is called as scripting pane. We keep our queries. Okay, for each and every query that you execute, you'll observe the output here. You'll observe the output, whether it was executed or not. You'll be observing the output in this section. Then next to it, towards the left side, you see schemas. And by default, you'll not observe these many databases, guys, these many schemas. Okay, probably if you have installed for the first time, you'll be observing 3 default schemas, World, then SYS and Sakila. Okay, so these 3 will be the default schemas. The rest of the schemas I have created so far, we'll be doing it. Okay, that's not an issue, we'll be doing it. And let me also talk about 4 important icons that are available here. You see this one? This is for opening an SQL script. Like when we have understood the concepts of Python, Power BI, Okay. For each and every script that we are saving, if you take Python, what is the extension that we have got? We observe .py as extension for Python files. When we have to, develop the scripts using Spider, we observe .py as the extension. In case of Power BI, it is PBIX, .pbix. In the same way, in case of MySQL, the extension for the file will be .sql. The extension will be .sql, guys. Clear? So if you want to open any SQL file, .sql file, the first icon will help you to navigate to that location, then you can open that file using this icon. The second one is, this icon is for saving the current file. Whatever the current file that you have, if you want to save your file, you can go and save it using the second icon. Then the third one, if you want to execute either a selection or one particular query, you can go and use this thunder kind of icon. And the fourth one is, this is also for executing the query, but whatever the query that we have, where the cursor is placed, that particular query will be executed. You need not select, select that query. You can directly go and use this icon for execution. Clear? So these are the different important icons. And if you want to open the query file, you can go and open it from, this particular icon. When you click on it, an SQL file will be, empty SQL file will be loaded, and you can start typing your queries line by line. We'll be doing it, guys. Okay. And I want you guys to interact with me throughout the session. I'll be asking you questions. Okay. You be active and do respond to my questions. I hope this is clear. And can I get the replies? Can I get the answers for the installation? Is MySQL installation done or not? Because, not just listening to the session, I want you to type the queries. The queries has to be typed. Only if you understand and type the queries, you're going to learn SQL. If not, there is no use. Is the installation done or not? Yes or no? Right. If it is done, that's great. Guys, if it is not done, do complete the installation. I want you guys to complete the installation and start practicing. Right. Good. So let me start the topic. It's SQL commands. SQL structured query language contains 5 different languages. They are data definition language. The first one is data definition language, also called as DDL. What is the purpose of this language? It helps us to define the objects of databases. The database structures can be defined. Then the second one, data query language. In short, it is called as DQL, data query language. What is the purpose of DQL? It helps us to retrieve the data. Nothing but to fetch the data, we use the commands of DQL language. Right? Then, next to DQL, we have DML, Data Manipulation Language. DML. In general, what is the meaning for manipulation, guys? What is the general meaning of manipulation in English? Manipulating people. So what is the meaning for manipulation? Manipulation is nothing but, change, modify, right? So DML commands helps us to modify the data within the tables. Okay, we can do change the data within the table. Okay, and the fourth one we have is data control language, DCL, data control language, which helps us to control the data. What is, what do you mean by controlling the data? It is nothing but we are actually controlling what? We are, managing the permissions. Yes, good. We are we are actually managing the permissions. Who should, have the permission for this table? Who should have the permission for the table? Okay. Who should not have the permission for this table? So in this way, you are actually managing the permissions. Access. In short, we are controlling the access. Using what? Using the commands of DCL, data control language. And finally, TCL, transaction control language. Here we are controlling what? The permissions, right? And next to it, we are controlling transactions. What are transactions? We'll understand. Using TCL commands, we are going to manage the transactions in the database case. Okay, so these are the 5 different languages. Under these 5 different languages, we have commands. And if we are a fresher or a beginner, yes, this is one of the important topic from which you can expect some questions. Very basic. So repeat, what are the 5 different languages we have? They are DDL, Data Definition Language, then DQL, Data Query Language, DML, Data Manipulation Language, then DCL, Data Control Language, and TCL, Transaction Control Language. Okay, so these are the 5 different languages that we have in SQL. Structured Query Language. Okay, so let us understand each and every language to the depth, followed by the commands that are present in each and every language. Okay, we'll start from DDL. Okay, starting from DDL, then understanding the different commands that are present in DDL. Then we'll also focus on the hands-on. In this way, let us understand all the 5 different languages one by one. Good. So let us start with DDL, Data Definition Language. What is DDL? We know that it is a language, but what exactly is DDL? What is the purpose of DDL? If that is your question, DDL is a language, which helps us for defining, and managing the structure of a database. So that means we can define the objects of a database, as well as we can also manage the structure of these objects. That can be done. Okay. So using DDL commands, we can create, we can modify, we can also delete database structures. What do you mean by structures? I mean within database, we'll have tables. What is a table? Table is nothing but combination of rows and columns. Combination of rows and columns is called a table. Okay, so that means I can create a table, I can modify a table, I can delete a table. Yes, all these, specific operations can be done using the commands of DDL. Is that only table? No. In database, you'll have multiple objects guys, like views, indexes. Okay, so these objects, on these objects, we can perform, these operations. That is the use of DDL commands. That is a specific use of DDL commands, data definition language. What are the commands that we have in DDL language? We have commands like create. We have commands like create. Then, what is the next command? Alter, drop, and truncate. DDL in total contains 4 commands. They are create command, alter command, drop command, and truncate command. Okay, so let us understand each and every command one by one with some examples. Okay, so what is the first command? It is create. What is the purpose of create command? Create command helps us to create database objects. You can go and create some database objects. What are database objects? Like tables, indexes, views, or you can create a database itself. You can create a new database itself. That is the power of create command. The name itself, it tells that to create new database objects, we go and use create command. We go and use create command. So guys, SQL on day one itself, I have told you that SQL is very easy. Structured query language is very easy when you memorize the syntaxes. Now we are going to start with the syntax of create command. Okay, from here onwards, I want you guys to make a point. Okay, all the syntaxes have to be memorized because in general, you'll be questioned on syntaxes only. Okay, right. So what is the first one? Create command syntax. We understood what is the purpose of create. Done. For creating any database object, we go and use create command. But what is the syntax for create command? Syntax for create command is, if you want to create a database, the syntax will be like create database name. I repeat, create database name. That's it? Yes. Can't we memorize this? Is it very simple? Yes, it is. You go and keep any name of your database. In this place, this will create a database. A new database will be created with the name that you have provided. Okay, so let me give a try. What I'll do is, I'll start creating some databases. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm going to create a database. I have copied the query and I'm going to paste it here guys. See in the scripting pane. Done? Yes, it is done. Create database name. What is the name of my database? Company underscore DB. The name of my database is company underscore DB. First of all, go and check in the list of schemas, nothing but the databases. Do you have any database with the name company underscore DB? No, I don't see any of the database with the name company underscore DB. But there is a database named as company DB. Both are not same, guys. Both these databases are not same. Okay. Suppose what if you are trying to create a database which already exists, then it will throw you an exception. An error will be raised. Okay. Anyhow, I'm not creating a database which is already existing. Okay. So this particular query, when I execute, this particular query will create a database named as company underscore DB. Okay. Shall we do it? Before that, the question raises. When we are learning Python, we heard that Python is case sensitive. Yes, Python is case sensitive. What about SQL? SQL is not case sensitive. SQL is not case sensitive. That means you see the keywords like create database. So these keywords, whatever the words that we have like create database, you can specify them in either lowercase, uppercase or mixed case. Yeah, wish. Okay, it will execute. Irrespective of the case, it will execute. The only thing that it will look for is the syntax, whether you are following the syntax or not. Okay, am I following the syntax? Yes, I am. What does the syntax says? The syntax tells us that create database name. Fine. What is this symbol? What is this symbol? Colon? Come on, guys. What do you see here? Is it colon or semicolon? It is semicolon, right? See, at the end of each and every query, it is mandatory that we have to come up with semicolon. Why? Why? Is it for every type of RDBMS system or only for MySQL? It is only for MySQL. It is only for MySQL. In case of if you are going and using MySQL RDBMS system, okay, what is the relational database management system that we are using here? It is MySQL, guys. Okay, I'm using MySQL here. Fine. So in case of MySQL, each and every query should be separated with semicolon. This will ensure that, that it is the end of that particular query. Okay, if we are going and using some other RDBMS system like Oracle or say MS SQL Server, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, they may or may not use semicolon at the end. But in MySQL, it's mandatory. It is mandatory. Okay, fine. So let us execute this query. Should I select this query? Yeah, either you can select, if not, you can deselect and execute. It's up to you. If you are selecting, you can go and use the first icon. The thunder icon you see here. What does it says? Execute the selected portion of the script. That means it will execute the selected part of your query. Okay. So either you can go and use this. If not, You can go and use the next icon. When you are trying to use the second icon, you need not select the particular query, not required. Just keep your cursor on that query, on the line of that query, and click on it. It will execute. Done. You see here in the output, is it done? Yes, it is. But I don't see any kind of schema named as company underscore DB. Hold on, my friend. You see the refresh button, the arrow mark pointing double side, just click on it. When you click on it, the schemas get refreshed and then you immediately observe the new database coming in. It creates the new database, company underscore DB. It's done. Okay, so what is the purpose of create command in SQL? In DDL language, it helps us to create the database objects. If not, we can also directly go and create a new database. What did I do now? I created a database. The syntax is create database name. Is it simple or not, guys? Isn't it simple? It's very simple, right? So let us go back. Fine. Can I create one more DB? Yes. Let us go and create one more DB. Okay. So what is the DB that I'm going to create? What is the DB that I'm going to go and create here? Name of the DB. College underscore DB. I'm going to create a new database where the name of the database is college underscore DB. Do I have such kind of database under the schemas? No. No. So will this query execute or will it throw any error, guys? What do you see? How many of you see it will execute? Because I have changed the case of create and I have also kept the database in lowercase. So what happens if I execute line number 3? Will it execute? Yes, it will execute. So let me execute this query. Done. It will execute. The reason behind it is SQL is not case sensitive. Okay. SQL is not case sensitive language. You can keep the keywords either in lowercase or uppercase. Yeah, wish. Proper keys. Anything is accepted. Okay. It will execute and it got executed as well. So let me refresh. If I refresh, I'll see a new schema. Okay. What is the name of the database? College DB. Is it created? Yes, it is created. It got created. Done. Fine. What if I want to create a database with some special characters? So far, I'm just creating the database with the names, which contains only underscore. What if I want to create a database which contains some special characters? How can I do it? How is it possible in MySQL? If that is your question, we have an example for it as well, guys. See, what are we doing in line number 5? I'm going to create a database. The name of the database is my@database #1. This is the name of my database. Fine. But the database name contains special characters like @ hash. Okay. which is not accepted. In general, you cannot directly go and create the database in this fashion. Okay, how is it possible to create such kind of databases? Is we have to specify the name of the database in backticks. What are these called? Backticks. If you are using Windows machine, okay, in your keyboard, down to escape button, you will observe this symbol called backtick. And these backticks help us to create the database which contains special characters in the name. Okay, and this is only in case of MySQL. Okay, not only a database, if you want to go and create any database object, it might be table, view, whatever it might be, okay, you have to specify the name of the database object which contains the special characters in backticks. Only if you specify within the backticks, it will allow us to create the database or the database object. If not, it will throw you an exception. You can go, give a try, guys. Okay, you can go and give a try. Right? So let me execute line number 5. What did I do? Did I go and click on any icon? No. But it got executed. How come? I'm using a shortcut. If you want to execute any of the query in MySQL, you can go and click once after selecting, once after keeping your cursor on the query, go and click Control plus Enter. That will execute, that particular query gets executed. See, it got created, that particular query got executed. Let me refresh. Yes, I see the database getting created. The database got created, my@database #1. Clear? What are we doing so far? We are just creating the database objects. We started creating the databases. We just created 3 different databases. Okay. Done. Can I also create a table? Can I create a table? Yes. But before creating a table, let us go and understand how to use a database. We are creating databases. Fine. What is a database? Database is a container in which we'll have the data get stored, right? In the form of tables. We created 3 different databases, but I want to use one specific database out of these 3. Okay. Which command should I go and use? The syntax for using the database is use database name. Use database name will actually help us to use the database. Okay, so let me do it, guys. So which database will be used? If I execute line number 7, it is company_db. If you observe under schemas, all of these are different databases. Okay, all of these are different databases. But do you see any of these database is getting used? No. How can you understand whether a database is being used or not? You can confirm a database is being used by looking at, the schemas. You will observe the database which is getting used in bold. Okay, so let me use this guy. Let me execute line number 7. What we are doing, I'm going to use the database called company_db. I executed, done. You see immediately, company DB is in bold. If you compare all the rest of the schemas, databases, okay, you see only company underscore DB getting highlighted. That is because of we are going to use company underscore DB. We are going to use company underscore DB. Done. Within a database, what do you see? You see tables, views, stored procedures, and functions. We'll understand one by one. We'll go and understand. Okay. First of all, we know what is a table. Yes, table is nothing but a combination of rows and columns. Right. So let me go and create some tables. Let me go and create some tables within the database. For creating a database, the syntax is create database name. What if I want to create a table? Simple. Just replace the word database with table. The syntax is create table name, create table name. Along with this part, you should also mention the columns. At least one column has to be mentioned because a table contains columns. Right? So the syntax will be like create table name, column name, followed by the data type constraint. Okay, what is data type? What is constraint? We'll understand. Clear, guys? So in this way, you can define multiple columns. You can define multiple columns for a table. So what am I doing here? Try to understand. What are we doing? I'm going to create a table. Fine. I'm going to create a table. That's fine. Am I following the syntax? Yes. I'm create table name. What is the name of the table? Employees. I'm going to create the table as employees in which I have columns. What are the different columns that I have? Employee ID, first name, last name, position, salary. All of these represents column names. If you go and map, what does the first one represent? The column name. Next to column name, what should we represent? Data type, which is nothing but the type of data that actually should sit in that column. Okay, within employee ID, I would like to have int values. In first name column, I would like to have varchar. What is this varchar? We'll understand. Varchar is one of a data type. Okay, we'll understand in the next session. For time being, you just understand varchar is a data type. That's it. And what does 50 represents? Size. 50 represents size. In this way, I have to define at least one column, guys. You cannot just keep it as create table name. And if you execute, it will throw you error. It will throw you an exception. So at least one column is what it accepts. I'm coming up with 5 different columns. Along with the columns, I'm also specifying the data type. So let me execute. Let us create the table called employees. I'm going to do it. Done. I have created the table called employees. Where does this employees get created? The table employees will be created within the database company DB. Why only in company DB? Because I'm using company DB, company underscore DB. Okay, let me refresh. Done. Let me click on the arrow mark to which the tables is being pointed. I see employees. Employees got created. Would you like to go and look at the data. Anyhow, there is no data. Okay, but still, can we go and have a look on the data? Next to employees, you see a kind of table kind of icon. If you click on it, you know, it will allow you to look at the preview of the data. Okay, if you see, there are 5 different columns. Whatever the columns that we have specified, the table employees got created with the 5 columns in which there is no data. There are no records. We just created the table. That's it, guys. Okay, so I hope it is very clear. Right. Again, the question rises. The syntax for table creation is create table name, column name, data type, then constraint. But there are no constraints here. You haven't defined any constraints, but still it got executed. The reason being is constraints are optional. You either specify constraint or not. What are constraints? We'll understand. That's not an issue. We'll understand slowly and steadily. Done? In the same way, let us go and create one more table. Yes, let us go and create one more table. Now I'll sit quiet. I want you guys to respond. What is the name of this table? What is the name of this table, guys? The next table that we are going to create is students. The name of the table is students. Just match with the syntax. Create table name. So that means a table with name students will be created. Where? Where it gets created? Will it create in sales DB? No. It will be created under company underscore DB. Good. How many columns we have in students table? 5. Student ID, first name, last name, date of birth and email. 5 different columns, and all the 5 columns have data types: int, varchar, then date, varchar. Okay, in this way we have 5 different columns being created along with the data types, and 4 columns have constraints. You see here, primary key, not null, unique. What are these primary key, not null, unique? These are nothing but constraints. What are constraints? We'll understand. Okay. Either you can specify constraint. If not, you need not specify constraint like last name. Does last underscore name have any constraint? No. But still it will execute. Okay. Constraints are not mandatory. They are not mandatory, but data types are mandatory, guys. Okay. So I am selected the entire query. Now I'm going to execute. Is it done? Yes, it is. It is done. Where? Where it got created. Go and refresh. You'll observe the new table students. Yes, exactly. But anyways, let's not talk about constraints now. I don't want to wrap the things up quickly. No, I'll do it slowly, guys. A new table students got created. Fine. I hope it is very clear. The purpose of create command. What is the purpose of create command? Create command helps us to create the database objects. It might be tables, indexes, views, users, whatever the database objects we have, we can create them using create command. If not, you can create a new database itself. Right? The next command that we have in DDL is alter command. What is the next command that we have? Alter command. What is the purpose of alter? First of all, what is the meaning for alter? Alter means what? Alter means change, modify. Okay, so you are going to change, you are going to modify something. What you are going to change or what you are going to modify is the database structure. Whatever the structure that the database objects hold, you can go and modify, you can change the structure of these database objects. What does it mean? It means you can add a column to the existing table, you can delete a column from the existing table, or you can update the data type for an existing column. In this way, alter command helps us for modifying the structure of your database objects. Yes. What is the syntax for alter command? C? Alter command syntax for adding columns. When you want to add any column to the existing table, the syntax will be like alter table, table name. Okay. Specify the table name to which you are going to add the column. Okay. Then add column name data type constraint. Simple. Whatever the new column that you would like to add, specify the new column name and the data type for the new column name. And if there is any constraint, yes, specify the constraint as well. Okay, so in this way, it helps us to add columns to the existing table. Let us do it, guys. Let us do it practically. What I'll do is, we have the column, we have the table called employees. Yes, we have employees. Let us go and use alter on employees. What am I doing? I'm going to add a new column to employees table. First of all, let me go and check. Is there any column called joining date in employees? Under employees, the table employees, we have columns, and if I observe in the columns, there is no column called joining date. There is no column called joining date. I would like to add the column joining date to employees. Okay. So I'll go with alter command. Alter table, table name. Then add new column. What is the new column? Joining date, data type. What is the data type? Date. Okay. So when I execute this line, when I execute the query, let me refresh. The joining date will be added. The new column joining date will be added to the table employees. Is it done? Yes, it is. It is, guys. Okay. Now, in the same way, let me also go with one more example. This time, I would like to add a new column. It is phone number to students table. You see students table? Yes. Under students table, is there any column called phone number? No. So let us add phone number, a new column to students table. Okay. So alter table students, add new column name is phone number and data type. Okay. So what is varchar 15? We'll understand, guys. For time being, assume varchar is a data type. Okay. So when I execute, yes, a new column phone number got added. Let me refresh. Done. The new column phone number got added to students. It's done. Fine. We were able to add columns. In the same way, can we also delete columns? Can we drop columns? Yes. Instead of add, just use the keyword as drop. Change the keyword to drop. Okay, so the syntax is alter table table name, drop column column name. Okay, you need not specify the data type here. Data type is not required. So let us do it, guys. I'll go and drop the column joining date. The column joining date that we have added to employees, let me drop it from employees table. The same syntax, alter table table name. Instead of adding, what am I doing? I'm dropping the column. That is what I'm telling you. Syntaxes are important. If you memorize the syntaxes, you can write any query on your own. Depending on the situation, you can write your query. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here, drop column name. What is the column name? Joining date. So this joining date will be dropped from the column from the table employees. Let us have a look. I'll be executing this. Done. Let me refresh. Yes. Joining date column was dropped from table employees. It got dropped. Clear? In the same way, let us also drop the phone number column that we have added so far to students table. Let us drop this phone number column as well. These are not required. Just to make you understand, I have used these two columns in case of alter command. Okay, so let me also drop phone number. Done. Let me refresh. Yes, I don't see phone number no more in students table. Clear, guys? Understood alter or not? What is the purpose of alter? Alter command helps us to modify the structure of the database objects, especially the tables. You can add columns, you can drop the columns. Okay. Can I also drop or can I add the new constraints, new data types? Yes. If you observe what I'm trying to do here, the same command, I'm using alter command. Okay, using alter command, I'm going to change the data type for an existing column. I'm going to change the data type and the constraint. What is the keyword that I'm using? Modify. Okay, so let us have an example. I'll use alter command. Okay, so within the employees table, there is a column called salary. Let us go and check. Yes, there is a column called salary. What is the data type for salary? Earlier, when we have defined the table, when we created the table, the data type that we have for salary is int. Can I change the data type for salary column? Yes, we can. I'm using alter command. The syntax is alter table table name, then modify column salary. I'm going to modify the column salary data type to decimal 12 comma 2. What does this 12 comma 2 represent? You'll understand tomorrow. For time being, you know memorize this entire thing as a data type. Decimal represents a data type. Okay, you'll understand the meaning for 12 comma 2 in the next session, guys. So this will actually modify the data type of salary column. Done. Okay, in this way you can also modify the constraints. See, what am I doing here? In the next query, I'm going to modify the email data type. See, what is the data type for email? It is varchar. Fine. What is the size? 100. Okay. What is the size now? It is varchar, but the size is 150. I just want to increase the size. Yes. You need not, remove this entire table. You need not remove the table. You can go and just modify the data type of email column alone. That is what we are doing here. I'm using alter command and I'm modifying the data type of email column. Let me do it. Done. So in this way, alter helps us for modifying the database objects. Create. Is it clear, guys? Yes. Now, next to alter, we completed create and we have also understood alter. Next to alter, we have drop command. What is the next command? In DDL, it is drop command. Okay. So what does drop command does? Drop command actually helps us to delete the objects. Drop, which means it helps us to delete the database objects like tables, indexes, views, so on permanently. You are going to drop these objects permanently from the database. Is it possible to drop a database also? Yes, it is. You can also drop the entire database. Like how you are able to drop the objects of a database, in the similar manner, you can drop the database permanently. Okay, so let us understand the syntax of drop. Drop syntax is very simple, guys. Drop table, table name. Since I want to drop a table, the syntax will be drop table, table name. Let us do it. Let us apply it on employees table. We have the table called employees. Yes. So let us go and use it on employees and see whether it is going to drop or not. What am I doing here? I am trying to drop employees table. See, I have employees. Let me drop it, guys. I'll execute this command. Next moment, I don't see employees table in company underscore DB, which means that employees table was being dropped permanently. It was removed permanently. Fine. In the same way, can I also go and drop a database? Yes. Instead of table, use the keyword database. Drop database, database name. Use the word database. So I'll drop the database with which we have created, we have created a database called my@database #1. Yes. So let us drop this database. Anyways, it is not required for us. Okay. If you observe, I'm not maintaining the case. I'm not maintaining the case, but still SQL queries will execute. The reason behind it is SQL is not case sensitive. Okay. So let me do it. Done. Do you see the database anymore? No. So that is the purpose of drop command. Clear? Yes. Drop is very simple. Next to drop, we have truncate. We have truncate. What does truncate does? Truncate command actually helps us to, remove all the rows. It helps us to remove all the records from the table. Within the table, you'll have records. What are records? These are called records. These are called records. The horizontal one are called records and the vertical one are called columns. records or rows, whatever we both mean same, right? So these records, if you want to remove all the records from a table, you can just go and use truncate command. This truncate command is very faster than the delete command. You'll observe, we are going to understand delete command as well in the next language called DML. Compared to delete, truncate is very faster, where it will remove all the records and it retains the structure. The structure will be as it is this. You'll still observe the physical structure of the table, but the records will be removed. You'll observe the records getting removed. What is the syntax? The syntax is truncate table name. The syntax is truncate table name. Anyhow, we don't have the data in any of the table, but if you want to use it, so the syntax will be like truncate table students. We have the table, there is a table called students. Yes. So when you use it on the table students, all the records, all the rows from the students table will be removed, but you'll still observe the structure of students table. Okay, this will execute, but still you cannot understand. The reason being, we don't have the data present. The records are not present in any of the table. Okay, so drop and truncate syntaxes are very simple, guys. Okay, so here it is drop table name, and under truncate it is truncate table name. They are similar and they are very simple. Okay, so these are the four different syntaxes, four different commands that we have in DDL. What are they? Create, alter, drop, and truncate. Fine. What is the next language that we have? It is DQL. What is the next language? DQL. What does DQL means? DQL means data query language. What is the purpose of data query language command? Data query language command helps us to fetch the data. It helps us to fetch the data, or it helps us to query the data, retrieve the data, all means same. Within the database, you'll have tables. Yes. Within this table, what do you have? You'll have data. You'll observe the data within the table. The data is getting stored in the table. So when you want to fetch the data, when you want to retrieve the data, when you want to query the data, we have to go and use DQL command. What are the DQL commands that we have? There is only one command in DQL. It is select. It is select. Select is the only command that we have in DQL. That we have in DQL. Right? So you see here, select command is used for what? It helps us for retrieving the data from either one table or more tables based on specific conditions. Based on a given condition, it helps us to retrieve the data, guys. Clear? What does the syntax for select command say? The syntax is select column name from table name. If you want to select a specific column from a specific table, this will be the command. What if you would like to fetch the entire data from the select table? What if you would like to fetch the entire data from the table? The syntax is select star from table name. The syntax is select star from table name. This star represents all. This star represents all records. So let me go and use select star from table name. This particular command, let me go and use. I'm going to use select command, select star from table name, which means this will fetch the entire data, all records from students table. All records from the students table will be fetched. You see, as we don't have any records in the table, it is displaying null. It is just displaying null. Okay. Instead, if you find the data, it will display all the records. The records will be displayed one by one. Okay. What if I just want to fetch the data from a specific column? I don't want the data from all the columns. Can I only get the data from specific columns? Yes. We can also fetch the data from the required columns. How? Specify those column names. Instead of specifying star, asterisk mark, specify the column names. First name, email. These are the different columns that we have in students table. Okay. I don't want the data to be fetched from all the columns. No. I just want the data to be fetched from first name, email columns only. Okay. So let me do it. You see all the columns coming in? No. Only the details from first name and email column. Only the data from first name and email columns will be fetched. Okay. So these are the two different syntaxes for select. One is fetching the entire data and fetching the data from selected columns. Your wish. Upon your requirement, you go and use the select command. Right? So under DQL, the only command that we have is select, guys. What is the purpose of DQL command select? Select command helps us to fetch the data, to query the data or to retrieve the data from the table. We go and use select command. Done? Yes. Let us go to the next language. It is DML, data manipulation language. Okay. So we understood manipulation. What does manipulation means? Manipulation is nothing but change, right? So DML commands, they help us to manipulate the data within the tables. Okay, they help us to change the data within the tables. Okay, what are the different commands that we have under DML? We have insert command, update command, and delete command. The three commands under DML are insert, update, and delete. Insert command helps us to insert the records. Update command helps us to update the values. Delete command helps us to remove the records based on a specific condition. Okay, so DML commands helps us to manipulate the data within the tables. Simple English, guys. If you understand the meaning, you can answer any question. Insert. What does insert means? You are adding, you are inserting some records into a table. And insert command has two different syntaxes. Insert command has two different syntaxes. What are the two different syntaxes that insert command allows us to work with? Is the first one is insert into table name followed by column names, then values is what you have to specify. So this means value 1 will be inserted into column 1, value 2 will be inserted to column 2, and so on. Value n will be inserted to column n. Okay, this is one way of inserting, guys. The second way or the second syntax for insert command is the same command. Insert into table name will not specify columns. We are not going to specify columns in the second command. Directly we'll specify the values. So when we go with insert command 1 and when do we generally use insert command 2 is when you just want to insert the values into selected columns. Okay. If you have 10 different columns and if you want to insert into 5 different columns, assume this is a scenario. Okay. Then you go and use the first syntax of insert. Specify the first the columns that you want to insert to the values and the values. These values will be inserted based on their position. That's it. And when do we go with the second approach, the second syntax? When you want to insert in all the 10 columns, you go with the second approach of insert command. Okay, in short, when you want to insert into all the columns, when you want to insert the values into the all columns, the second syntax is preferred and first syntax is preferred in case of when you want to insert the values into selected columns only. Okay, so that makes the difference, guys. Let us do it. Let us insert the values. Let us insert some records by using insert command. First of all, let me go with the first syntax of insert. Have copied, done. What are we doing? I'm going to insert a record. Okay, this is a record, the list of the values. Okay, am I following the syntax? Yes, I'm following the syntax. Insert into table name, then column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So for these 5 columns, I have to specify 5 values. Value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4, value 5. Okay, which means 1 will be inserted in student ID column. Alice will be inserted in first name. Brown will be inserted under last name. So in this way, the values will be inserted based on the column order. Okay, based on the specified order, the values gets inserted. Okay, I have selected and let me execute, guys. Done? Yes, it is done. How can I go and check whether the record or the values got inserted or not? We have select command, right? So we go and use select command. When you execute the select command, it will help us to fetch the details, the data. See, is the record inserted? Yes, it is inserted. That is the purpose of insert command. That is the purpose of insert command. Done? Yes. Now, let me also go with the second approach of insert command, guys. Let me go with the second approach of insert command. Okay. So I have copied the entire query. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to insert 3 different records at a time, but using second approach. Did I specify the column names? No. Insert into table name and directly I'm specifying the values. Values as within the braces. Okay, that means this will be one record, this will be the second record, and that third one will be the third record. So I'm going to insert 3 records at a time. Okay. So this will ensure that 3 records get inserted into the table students. Let me fetch using select command. Yes. Yes, it got inserted. We have inserted first record using the first approach and next 3 records using the second approach. Just memorize the syntax. You'll understand how we are able to insert the records using insert command. Yes, in short, we are inserting multiple records at a time. Yes. I hope insert is very clear. Let us go to the next command. It is update. What does update command does? Update command helps us to update the values based on a condition. Okay, you have the existing data. If you want to modify this existing data upon a condition, you can do it using update command. The syntax for update command is update table name, set, to which column you are going to update the value, specify the value. Okay, in this way you can update multiple values at a time, and this updation will be done based on a condition. That condition will be specified using where clause. Where is a clause? We'll understand what is a clause and all. Okay, so for time being, just memorize the syntax of update command. Okay, so here is an example I'm going to use for update. Let us understand what we are trying to do here. What does the syntax for update says? The syntax is update table name, then set column value 1, column 1 value 1. I just want to update only one value, one column, one value. And I am going with the condition. What is the condition that I have specified? The condition says if the first name is John and the last name is Smith, okay. If the first name is John and the last name is Smith, the email for this person has to be updated to the new email. This will be the new mail for the John Smith. Okay, let us go and first check whether is there a person called John Smith in our data. How can I go and check? We have select command. Yes, I'll go and use select command. When I use select command, I got the details. Right? Did we get the details? Yes, we got the details of the students. So is there any student called John Smith? Yes. So what is the email of John Smith? It is john.smith@example.com. So this email will be updated to the new mail. It is john.newemail@example.com. Okay. So this is what the mail gets updated. Right. So let us go and execute. Done. Is it done? Yes. Let us go and cross check whether it got updated or not. Yes, it got updated. See, new email@example.com. So in this way, when you want to update the values, you can go and use update command. You can go and use update command, which is part of DML, data manipulation language. In the same way, one more example guys for update. What are we doing? You try to understand. What are we doing? We are updating the values of first name to Jacob and last name to Steve, what is the condition that we have specified? Where the student ID is equals to 1. If the student ID is 1, okay, there is a column called student ID. Yes. So if the student ID column is 1, under the student ID, if the column value is 1, the first name and the last name values should be updated to Jacob and Steve. First of all, let us go and cross check. Is there any student ID with the value 1? Yes, we have the student ID, the value being 1. Okay, so the first name and the last name values will be updated to Jacob and Steve. Okay, so let us do it, guys. Let us do it. I'll update the command. I'll execute the update command. Done. I'll go and cross check by executing the select command. Are the details updated? Yes. Clear? In this way, update command helps us to update the values. Right? Even the syntax is also very simple. Update table name, set the column names and the values, followed by the where condition. Okay. Next to update, we have delete command. What does delete command does? Delete command helps us to delete the records. The records get removed from the table. But how? Based on a condition. You specify a condition. Based on the given condition, the rows gets removed. So what is the syntax for delete? Delete from table name followed by where condition. Okay, if the condition is met, that particular record will be deleted. That particular record gets deleted. Okay, so here is an example, guys. What are we doing here? I'm going to delete some records and I have specified a condition. What is the condition that we have specified? If the student ID is 2, if the student ID under the student ID column, if the value is 2, what it has supposed to do? It has to delete that record. That record has to be deleted. So I just followed the syntax delete from table name where condition. So when I execute this, it got executed and let us go and check. I should not see the student ID 2. That particular record has to be deleted. Yes, it got deleted. It got deleted. Fine. Can I also delete all the records using delete command? Yes. When you don't specify any condition, when you just keep it as delete from table name, when you just keep it as delete from table name without specifying any condition. Am I using any condition here? No. When you don't specify any condition, what happens? This will delete the entire records. All records will be removed, will be deleted from the table students. Let us do it, guys. Is it done? Yes. Let me go and cross check. No records. There are no rows in the table students. Why? All the records got deleted by delete command. All the records got deleted using delete command. Is it clear? Right. So this marks the end of DML commands as well. We have understood insert, update, and delete. Right? All the three different commands we have understood as part of DML language. Next to DML, we have DCL, data control language. What exactly are we trying to control here? Let us understand. Under DCL language, the purpose of DCL language commands are they help us to manage the access, the permissions. We can manage the permissions on the data using the commands of DCL. Okay, what are the commands that we have under DCL? We have grant and the other one is revoke. Grant and revoke. In general, for maintaining the databases, we'll have database administrators base. We'll have database administrations. So these database administrators, what they do is they actually take care of these DCL commands. Those people will work with more DCL commands. They are the one who actually grant the permissions and they also revoke the permissions. Because using DCL commands, we can actually have the security on the data, the security on the database. Okay, this control over the database can be actually done using DCL commands. And under DCL, we have two commands. One is grant, which means giving the permissions, granting the permissions. Revoke means taking back the permissions. Okay, until unless if we are not a database administrator, we generally don't use these commands. But in general, who uses these commands are DBAs, database administrators. Who are these DBAs? These DBAs, nothing but database administrators, they take care of the database. They manage the database. Okay, so we get the permissions from them. And either we would like to have the permissions or not will be decided by these people only. Okay, so let us understand these two commands that are grant and revoke one by one. They are very simple. Okay, so if you understand the general meaning of grant and revoke, obviously you might have understood what is the purpose of grant and revoke commands. Right, so the first one, grant command. What does grant command does? Grant command, it gives privileges, access, permissions. To whom? To users. There are multiple users in an organization. Yes. So to the specific users, upon their projects, upon their actions, upon their work, we have to grant the necessary databases. Not each and every person should have the access to each and every database. There is no use of having such kind of access, right? So that is where the database administrators come into the picture, and these people will grant the permissions one by one. If not, they can also grant all the permissions to the user at a time. Permissions, what kind of permissions? Permissions means whether you would like to have the permission to fetch the data, to insert, to update, to delete, any kind of operation can be done only if they grant you the permission. If they grant you for select, only to fetch the data, you can only just fetch the data. You can retrieve the data. Only that can be done. You cannot insert the data. You cannot update the data. You cannot delete the data. So that is the power of grant command. That is the power of grant command in real time. Why? Why someone should grant us the permission is because majority of the people, they misuse their privileges. That is where, the security for the database is denied, right? So grant command is very powerful. Only if you have the privilege, you can go and enjoy it, right? So that can be done by DBA. What is the syntax for grant? Grant command syntax is grant privilege on object to user. Okay. So privilege is nothing but these actions, operations, select, insert, update, delete, whatever it might be. Okay. When you are granting, obviously you'll use the keyword on. And two, you are granting this privilege on this object, whatever the database object you are going to use, to that user, to that XYZ user. So this is how the syntax for grant is designed. And the privileges, as we have discussed, it can be anything. Either you can get all the privileges or a selected privileges only. Object, a database or a table, whatever it might be, and user means the end users, the roles. Okay, so before we go and use grant command, I would like to create a user first of all, because only if I create a user, I can go and execute this grant command, right? So let us create a user, guys. Well, you see here, how am I going to create the user? Using create command. Under DDL, we have create. Yes. So the syntax for creating user is create user username followed by the server, as we have MySQL Workbench. MySQL running in the local host. The server will be local host identified by password. So you have to specify both username and the password. Okay, even though if you don't memorize this, that's not a major thing. So this is the purpose of creating a user, guys. The purpose, why am I creating this user? I'll let you know. Because in order to explain grant and revoke, I should have one user first of all, right? So I'm going to create a user called Kalam. Okay, the username is Kalam and this is my password for Kalam. Okay, so let me go and execute. Done. I have created this user. Where can you go and check the users is under administration. In the management tab, you'll see users and privileges. When you click on users and privileges, you'll see one more tab opening in, and you'll get the list of users that you have. Okay, you see the first one, Kalam, is the user that we have created just now, and this is the entire information that we have for the Kalam. You can change the password from here, right? I'll go back. Let me go back to schemas. So I have created the user, guys. The user got created. Now, what I'll go with is, I'll go and use grant command. What am I doing here? I'm using grant command. The command says grant. What is the privilege that we are going to give for Kalam? It is update. I'm going to give update on what? On the object called students. What is students? Students is a table. Grant update on students to the user. The user is Kalam, which is hosting locally. Okay, so you are supposed to mention the server also. So this will actually, give the update command. Kalam can just update the values of students table. Okay, so he has only the command, the permission to update. The only privilege that Kalam has on students is to update. Apart from it, anything else? No. Can I also give select? Yes, you can give any privilege. You can give any privilege to any user. See, I'm just granting only the select privilege to Kalam. Clear, guys? Done. In this way, how can I know what are the privileges that an user has? If there is a user like Kalam, okay, after some days, I just want to know what all privileges or what all the access does Kalam has. For that also we have a command. It is nothing but show grants. Show grants for user will tell us the all the privileges, all the grants does a user has. See, Kalam has select and update grants on which on students table from company underscore DB. You see here, it is giving everything. Kalam has update and select privileges on company DB students table. Okay, so that is the purpose of show grants. Show grants will let you know all the privileges for an user, right? And next to grant, we have revoke. What does revoke does? Revoke will take back your permission. Okay, grant will grant you the permission. Revoke will take back your privileges. Okay, it is going to remove your privileges. The syntax will be similar, but here we'll use revoke keyword. There it is grant, here it will be revoke. Revoke from user, grant to user. Okay, so that is the only change that you'll observe, guys, within the syntax. See what I'm going to do here. I'm going to revoke a privilege. What is the privilege that I'm going to revoke? Insert on what is the object? Students. That means from Kalam, I'm going to take back the insert privilege on students table. Simple. So when you execute this, Kalam can no more insert records into students table under company underscore DB database. Clear? When you use revoke, you have to use from. When you use grant, you'll be using to. Granting to, revoking from. Simple English. Okay? Right. What if I want to revoke all the permissions? Is it possible to revoke all the privileges? Yes, you can take back all the privileges at a time. In the same way, you can also grant all the privileges. What am I doing here? I am using revoke and I am going to take back all the privileges from Kalam, from the user Kalam on students table. On this table, I just want to take back all the privileges. Let me do it. Done. Let me go back to show grants. Let us check whether Kalam has any grants. No, Kalam does not has any grants. The only thing that he has is to use. That's it. This is by default a user gets. Okay. But default grant that user gets is when it is created. Yes. Clear? We have took back all the permissions using revoke command. All the privileges were being taken back. So that is the purpose of revoke command. I hope it is clear. So under DCL, data control language, we have two commands. One is grant and the other one is revoke. Grant is for granting the permissions, the privileges Revoke is to take back the permissions or privileges. And the last language that we have in SQL is TCL. What is this TCL? Transaction control language. Earlier you are able to control the data. Now we are able to control the transactions. What are these transactions? Transactions are nothing but each and every single step that you do on a database is called a transaction. Okay, and now you are going to use some commands to control these transactions. So what are the commands that we have under TCL are commit, rollback, and finally set point. Three different commands under TCL are commit, rollback, and set point. We'll understand all these three commands, guys. Okay. First of all, understand what is the purpose of TCL. They help us to manage the transactions in the database. If you take a specific database, on each and every database, you'll be, hitting on multiple transactions every day. Okay. So these transactions can be controlled by using the commands of TCL. What is the first command? It is commit. You know what does commit does? Commit will actually save all your changes. Whatever you do on a database, in general, they are temporary, guys. Until unless if you do commit. Until unless if you go and use commit command. When you use commit, it means you are going to save your changes permanently. You're going to save your changes permanently. What if you don't use commit? If you don't use commit, the changes are, whatever the modifications that you do on the database, they are temporary. They would be temporary. So that is where we go and use commit command, which helps us for saving the transactions, saving the changes permanently. Then we also have rollback. Okay, let us complete first of all commit. So what is the syntax for commit? It is simple, just commit. Just the keyword commit. Let us take an example. You see here, what am I trying to do? We are going to insert the records into the table student. Okay, I'm going to insert the record into the table students. Right. So if you observe here, I'm just going to insert one record into the table students. Fine. Let me execute this. I'm using insert command and I have inserted the record. Done. When I fetch the data, you'll observe only that single record. It is going to fetch the single record. But whatever the changes that you do on the database or the database object, like students, here it is table, right? So in general, all that changes would be temporary, guys. If you want to make it permanent, if you want to save your changes, we have to go and use commit. We have to go and use commit command. This commit command will help us to save our changes permanently. Done. That means you cannot go back once if you have committed. This will never undo. Why? I have committed. I have saved the transaction. The changes were being saved. Yes. That is the purpose of commit. Okay. Next to commit, you observe rollback. What does rollback means in general? Undoing, going back? Yes. So rollback command helps us to undo the transactions. Okay, you can go back to the previous state by using the rollback command. Whatever the changes that you do, you can go back by undoing it using the rollback command. What is the syntax for rollback? It is just rollback. Like how we have commit, in the same way, we just need to type as rollback. Okay, see, for example, here is a small code, okay, a small scenario where we are trying to use rollback. I'm just copying the entire syntax. So I'm starting the transaction. First of all, I'm going to start the transaction done. What am I doing in line number 81? What are we doing in line number 81, guys? I'm updating, the value. The email value was being updated for the student ID 102. Right? Do we have 102? Okay. But before that, I have to go and update. I have to insert the record 102. Let me do it. Okay. I have inserted a record with the ID, student ID as 102, and I have committed. Done. Now, let us understand how rollback works. Using update command, I'm going to update the email of the student whose ID is 102. Done. Is the student email got updated? Let us go and check. Let us refresh. Yes. The email got updated. If you observe, right? Now, when I say select star from students, this will give me the entire data. The email got updated. Now, can I go back? Yes, I can go back. Okay. Without, I did not commit, guys. If you observe here, after updating, did I use commit command anywhere? No. That means whatever the changes that I have done are temporary. Okay. And I can go back using rollback command. When I say rollback, okay, you see here now, clear? So this is where it is going to undo the transactions. You can go back, right? Now, let me fetch the details. When I say select star from table name, where the student ID is 102, see, it helps us to undo the transaction. You can go back. Okay. So that is the purpose of rollback, guys. But when you commit it, you cannot go back. I did not commit anywhere. Okay. That is the reason why I'm going back. And the third one is save point. The third one will be save point. What does this save point command does? The save point command will actually help us for setting a point within the transactions to which you can roll back till only a certain extent. Only till this point you can roll back. You cannot roll back to the complete extent. Okay, the syntax is save point save point name. Save point keyword followed by save point name. So this will create a point. Only till this point in the transactions you can roll back. Okay, so let me start the transaction and I'll create a rollback as well. I'll create a save point. Let us understand how save point works. See, I'm starting the transaction. Done. Then I'm creating a save point. What is the save point name? Save point name is before insert. So when I use rollback, only till this extent it helps us to roll back. That's it. Only till the save point before underscore insert, it helps us to roll back. Then after creating the save point, what am I doing? I'm trying to insert the values using insert command. Yes, I'm trying to insert the record. Done. What happened? Student ID. Okay. We have student ID. Yes. Okay, fine. Let me give some student ID. Probably 103. Yes. So I'm going to insert a record, okay, into the table students. Done. Okay. Now let me go and check whether the record has been inserted or not. Yes, it got inserted. The record got inserted. Fine. Now, what am I doing? I'm using the save point. The save point that I have created earlier. What is the name of my save point? Before underscore insert. Okay. So what is the purpose of save point is save point actually helps us to roll back only till that point. Okay. Till the point it helps us to roll back. When you say roll back to save point name, only till this extent it helps us to roll back. Now I'll say commit, which means, what does it means? It means we have saved the changes permanently. That is the purpose of save point. You can roll back only till that extent. Okay, you cannot roll back to the earlier point. Clear, guys? So that is the purpose of, see, we have created a point, then next to it we have inserted a record. After inserting the record, I have used this rollback and I have performed the undoing the transaction till the save point so that the third record got removed and then I have performed the commit. Okay, I mean I have saved the changes permanently. So this is how we go and use commit, rollback and save point commands in TCL language, transaction control language. Commit is for saving all the changes permanently. Rollback for undoing the transactions. Save point to undo the transactions only till that save point extent. That's it. Okay. So these are the 5 different languages that we have in SQL, and out of all these 5, the important one will be DDL, DQL, DML. So focus mainly on the first 3 languages, DDL, DQL and DML. Time again we'll be using these 3 languages commands. Okay. So under DDL, how many commands we have? 4. What are they? Create, alter, truncate and drop. And under DQL, how many commands we have? Only one. What is it? Select. Under DML, we have three. What are they? Insert, update, and delete. And under DCL, we have only two. Grant and revoke. Under TCL, we have again three. Commit, rollback, and save. Okay. So these are the different commands that we have in all the 5 different languages. And I want you guys to practice. Only if you practice, you will be able to memorize the syntax. SQL queries is all about memorizing the syntaxes, guys. Okay, if you understand the syntaxes and if you are able to practice it, for sure, you can add SQL as one of your primary skill in your resume. Right? So any questions in this particular topic, SQL commands? Any questions in case of whatever the topics that we have discussed in SQL commands? If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. And if you find that the session went well, do hit on the like button. Share among your connections, ask them to learn SQL, guys. The feedback link has been provided. Give your valuable feedback before you leave. And do hit on the like button, encourage us, and ensure that you have subscribed to our channel, guys.